What's up, guys? The beta is live for the moment, so I'm going to try to give you guys a quick run through on some fundamentals of Street Fighter. Now, I know a lot of you guys think that playing Ryu sucks and it's boring, and you want to be like the cool kids that play all the cool characters. Well, fuck that. If that shit even goes through your head, you need to be playing Ryu. So, before we can dig into like hit the moves and the specifics of everything, I think it's important to first create a plan and then work backwards. I really wish somebody would have told me this when I was a wee young nooblet. So I hope that now as an elder statesman in the FGC, aka I'm old, I hope that you guys that are younger will take this to heart. Maybe I come off as preachy. I just know it to be true. Please don't hold it against me, and please just keep an open mind. So basically, when you are, um, it's important to come up with a game plan. And once we have a game plan and a goal in mind, then we can work backwards from there to try to determine, well, how do we reach our goal most effectively? So I've found that most characters that are linear Street Fighter characters, your Shotos, your grapplers, footsie-based characters, like they are all strongest when the opponent is in the corner. And the reason why they are strongest when the opponent is in the corner is because your opponent's mobility options are limited. They can no longer backdash. They can't really jump out of the corner because you should be able to anti-air quite easily. So what that means is that we want the opponent in the corner. Yes, there are some instances where certain characters can get out of the corner quite easily. For example, if you had a teleport that quickly put you on the other side, like Akuma's in Street Fighter 4, or if you had some sort of really fast wall bounce like Seth or El Fuerte in Street Fighter 4, those could get you out of the corner quite easily. In Street Fighter 5, it's definitely a little bit harder to get out of the corner, making screen position even more important than it was in Street Fighter 4. So now that we know that the corner is where we want the opponent, how then are we going to get them to the opponent quickly and effectively? So what I would first like to do is set the dummy to uh, block. Okay. So I want you guys to look at where we are. We are we're separated by two training mode boxes on the bottom. And I want you to look at the pushback on this move, which is crouching medium kick into fireball. So she got pushed back about one whole square. Now, again, one whole square. This is actually a little bit less distance than in Street Fighter 4. 3, 4. Okay, so if you can get them to block about 4 crouching medium kick fireballs, it basically puts them at the range right about here, where this is where people start to panic. They start to panic because they know instinctually that if they stay in the corner, they will die. The round will be over. So what that means is that even if our crouching medium kick fireball is blocked 4 times, and it's only going to do 15 damage each time, let's say, but what you've earned is the screen position. So we can work backwards uh, from there, and then um, we can slowly start to build our Ryu arsenal. Now this works a lot better in Street Fighter 4 with this particular method, but I'm just showing this to you guys because it's Street Fighter 5 and I still think that it applies even if there are some slight differences. I mean, you guys know me, right? Like, I'm not like the most amazing player ever, and I certainly always wasn't like a regular Ryu player. But once Omega mode came out, I was like, dude, fucking Omega Ryu is godlike. This fool is sick. And then I started playing Evil Ryu in Ultra. I'm like, dude, this fool is sick. So what ended up happening was I spent maybe from the beginning of the year up until I played the beta in June. So I played Evil Ryu for like 6 months. And when the E3 launch tournament happened and the PS4 was first prize, hey, I won one of them. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm I'm not even that good, dude. Like I'm not. I'm okay. But my Ryu Street Fighter 4, my Omega Street Fighter 4 Ryu and my Evil Ryu practice in Ultra definitely helped me when it came to playing Street Fighter 5 because the fundamentals of the game are the same even if the combos and the engines and the systems are different. So like space control, anti-airing, a strong fireball game, and good footsies, like these things are still important in Street Fighter 5, if not more important, because a guy like me who's not Mr. Option Select Autopilot Offense is still able to do pretty well. I mean, if you guys were watching last week, like I didn't lose any games with, or excuse me, on Saturday, Friday, I didn't lose any games with Ryu. I lost one game with Sean and one game with Bison. Why? Because my fundamentals are on point. Okay, so now that we know that crouching medium kick is good and we want the opponent in the corner, then the next thing to figure out is, okay, well, what is the max range that crouching medium kick will hit? Now, at this point, you might think, okay, well, why is crouching medium kick not hitting Chun-Li's foot? I mean, you can see it make contact. I mean, my foot is fucking huge. You know what they say about guys with big feet. And I should clearly be playing footsies with this very pretty Chinese girl right now. But I'm not. What the fuck? Right? So why is this? Well, the reason why this happens is because the hitbox of my crouching medium kick and the hurtbox of Chun-Li are not colliding. So even though it looks like Chun-Li, her hurtbox extends to where her foot is, I would say that's not actually where it extends. And the other thing is that my hitbox on the crouching medium kick doesn't extend to the entire length of my foot. In Street Fighter 4, most characters' hurt boxes go to about where their knees bend. And the hitbox on most attacks, including Ryu's crouching medium kick, doesn't actually extend to the entire limb. So that means that we have to become a master of small nuances and small details in this game because the difference between your crouching medium kick making contact and it whiffing and you being vulnerable to being punished is probably one little training mode square. Now, if you look at the dark black line underneath my left foot, Ryu's left foot, you can see that I am basically my left foot is kind of covering the last two boxes. So what I'm going to do is try to move forward one tiny little training mode box so that now my foot is on um, my pinky toe on Ryu's left foot is on the edge of the third box from the end. And you can see even now it still doesn't make contact. So now let's try one more little box. So now when I'm standing, I'm 4 boxes away from the black line. Now it makes contact. So at 3 boxes, it whiffs. At 4 boxes, it makes contact. Look, 4 boxes, contact. 3 boxes, no contact. And you might say, well, gootecks, like, who the fuck cares? It's 1 box. But when you're playing a player that's really strong, that has really good footsies, they are waiting for you to whiff that crouching medium kick so that they can sweep you. So yeah, like it might seem trivial or it might seem unimportant, but I promise you that it is important and it's not trivial. And this is why you need to spend the time to figure out, well, what are the max ranges for my character's best moves? So, the next thing, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to build up our Ryu arsenal from the ground up. Okay, let's do this. Let's You know what? I'm just gonna keep on going. Even I should have just picked. I didn't think it was gonna let me in, so that was why I picked Chun. Okay. Um, we're gonna stand and we're gonna turn guard to no guard. Okay. Okay. So the next move in our Ryu arsenal after crouching medium kick. Oh, and here, this is what we can do. We can actually move her. We can test the range when she's standing. So you can see like. Um, So you see, like, I'm way too far right here, but now I'm closer. So this little difference, see, look, so this proves it, right? Like, her hurtbox is maybe where her knee is, but my hitbox is definitely, oh wow, and the idle pose actually moves the hitbox a little bit. So, um, okay. So that's crouching medium kick. So basically what you would do is what I recommend for new players to figure out the best range is to just try to walk the opponent all the way to the corner using only that move that you're trying to learn. Oh, here, let me turn stun off. Actually, we'll just leave stun on. And the reason why we're going to leave stun on is because it's always useful to know how much stun each of your moves is doing. Okay, so each crouching medium kick does 100 stun, which means if you hit 10 of them, she's going to be stunned. So the idea is to also sort of visually program your eyes to see what it looks like and learn to judge the distance accurately. So that you're not surprised and you're not shocked when the move hits. You expect it to hit. Why do you expect it to hit? Because you've spent the time that most players don't spend to learn the max range on both sides so that you can become a stronger player. Strong players know the ranges that their moves will connect and where they won't connect. So this is just something that you simply have to do when you're new to the game or new to the Street Fighter series in general. So now that we have crouching medium kick figured out, and for those of you guys that are just joining us, the reason why we start with crouching medium kick is because number one, it cancels into fireball. Number two, it's pretty hard to punish because it's so fast. And number three is it does pretty good stun. 100 stun is actually pretty good, and it's I'm pretty sure it's less. Well, it's definitely less damage than it was in 4. Whatever, it doesn't even matter. Street Fighter 4 is in the past. Who cares? Okay, so move number 2 of our Ryu arsenal is going to be sweep. And the reason why sweep is move number 2 in the arsenal is because, well, in 4, it would give you a hard knockdown. In Street Fighter 5, there basically are no more hard knockdowns except for if you get hit by critical art, aka the super. So, although it's although knockdowns from a sweep are still good because you get a knockdown and it gives you some time to dash forward, it's not as good as it was before because now they have the option to do a quick rise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change recovery to normal back. Huh. Interesting. Whoops. I'm actually not sure the difference between normal and back. Okay, maybe you press something different. Maybe you hold back and then do quick rise. I'm actually not really quite sure. Ah, look at that. So look at the difference. Look at how she backflips. Yeah. Okay, and then look at the difference when she does the normal recovery. So notice how she doesn't do the backdash. She just gets straight up. Either way, um, sweeps are important because it does give you time to set up your next move, which is probably going to be a mix-up. Okay, so Mushil V says they can't back recover off of a throw, though, only quick rise. Okay, alright, that's good to know. For now, we're just going to normal quick rise, press down and backflip, press back. Okay, so even if they do a quick rise, if they do the back recovery, it still pushes them further to the corner, which is what we want to do anyways. We want to push them to the corner. Remember, like, because when we have them in the corner, they become much weaker and we become much stronger because their mobility options are limited. So um, even if we don't get a whole lot of time off of the knockdown, uh, even if we don't get a whole lot of time off of the knockdown, especially if they do the back recovery, is still really good. And the other thing is that look at the damage. So crouching medium kick does 50, sweep does 90, but look at the stun. Medium kick does 100, sweep does 200. So basically, if you're walking back and forth and you hit them with a couple of crouching medium kicks, and then they whiffed a button, and then you went boom, you sweep them, you probably have filled up 300 out of their 1,000 stun points. So that puts them closer to the corner, puts you at advantage to attack them on wake up, and you've done a significant amount of their stun from only scoring 2 hits. So that's why um, sweep is important, even though you don't get the same amount of time as you did in Street Fighter 4 to set up your next mix-up situation. So, um, so here we can kind of test out a couple of the options, right? So she's set to quick rise, and let's say we're gonna set guard to after first attack. So look at she's still with the exception of maybe doing an EX reversal like EX spinning bird kick. She's still kind of gonna be forced to block on wake up. So probably if she tried to jump, it's likely that she would get hit. I mean, obviously here at max range, here let's look at this max range. You know, you're not going to be able to set it up as well. But if you're a little bit closer and you sweep and you time it right, then you can definitely force them to block. The advantage of forcing them to block on wake up is that their stun meter doesn't go down. See how her stun meter stays where it's at, and it's only once I stop attacking that her stun meter starts to go down. So what this means is that you want to keep the momentum going by forcing them to block, so that you can work towards building up their stun meter. Because your primary goal is to get them to the corner. Your secondary goal is to build up their stun meter as much as possible. And the reason why you want to build their stun meter up as much as possible is because if you get the stun, they are basically dead. The round should be over. Yeah, Morrison Said says putting them in block also limits their effective options. Yeah, so if they were to hit a button on wake up, or if they were to try to throw on wake up, if you had your the solar plexus strike already out, it's likely if you timed it right. I mean, this is the thing. I can't test it right now since I can't record the dummy to do anything. So we just have to assume that there's enough time that if I time it properly after the knockdown at the right range, that if I do the solar plexus strike, she's forced to block, and if she hit a button or try to throw, she would get hit. Let's change back recovery to normal recovery. That one, she definitely has to block, even at max range. See, even at max range, like I'm just hitting it, and only one hit connects, but she's still forced to block it. So that means that if she were to hit a button or try to throw, she would definitely get hit. And if she did the back recovery, now she's closer to the corner than she was before, which is what we wanted anyways. So we could still chase her down and then force her to block another crouching medium kick fireball. Oops, I mistimed it. Okay, so let's say that you got a sweep at the beginning of the round, and then you force her to block that crouching medium kick fireball. Now she has been pushed back from the center of the screen. 1, 2, 3 whole training mode boxes. So she is a little bit less than halfway to the corner off of 2 hits. Okay. So now now that we've talked about what his best poke is, which is crouching medium kick, and then we talked about, well, how do we get a knockdown and why is getting a knockdown important, which is sweep. The next thing to think about is what to do after. What are some other options after the throw? So, for example, after the sweep. And please keep in mind, guys, please, like, this is just the beta. I don't know everything. I'm just trying to explain, like, regular Street Fighter fundamentals to you guys and try to adapt what I've been teaching in Street Fighter 4 and adapt it to Street Fighter 5. So please forgive me if it's not perfect or whatever. I'm just doing my best here. Bear with me. So in Street Fighter 4, when I'm teaching people when I'm demonstrating the Ryu options that he has available in his arsenal, one by one. After sweep, the next move that I talk about is throw. And the reason why I talk about throw next is because in Street Fighter 4, there is no quick recovery off of a throw. There's only delayed recovery or regular recovery, and there's definitely no back recovery. So what that means is that I talk about throw as move number 3 in the arsenal because after a hard knockdown in 4, you have enough time as the attacker to dash forward a couple of times, and then you're basically on top of them. And the reason why throws are important in Street Fighter, not just in Street Fighter 4, but also in Street Fighter 5, is because number one, they're really easy to do. You only press 2 buttons, light punch and light kick, and boom, it does 130 damage and 200 stun. So let's compare that to the 2 other moves that we've just talked about, that we started with. Crouching medium kick, 100 stun. Sweep does 200 stun. Throw does 200 stun, right? So throws do as much damage as sweeps do, and when we look at the damage, crouching medium kick does 50, sweep does 90, and throw does a whopping 130. So for pressing 2 buttons when you're near your opponent, you can fill their stun gauge by 20% and do 130 damage, which is typically probably going to be around 13% of their life, which is pretty good for pressing 2 buttons at once. So the thing is that if you're not thinking about throws in your Street Fighter game, you're missing a huge component, because chances are the other guy is definitely thinking about a throw whenever you're in this range. So we have to become masters of throwing and teching throws, because otherwise we're just going to get thrown to death all day, and nobody likes that. So we have to think just like with our other moves, crouching medium kick and sweep. Oh, the other thing that we didn't talk about with sweep is that in this game, sweep moves you slightly forward. Notice how I'm moving forward? This is actually a new feature. So it actually lets you stand at a further range and then whiff punish with your own sweep from a little bit further than you normally would in previous Street Fighter games. So throws are uh, they're good. The other guy's definitely thinking about him whenever you're close, so you might as well try to beat him to the punch and try to throw him before he throws you. Because not utilizing throws in Street Fighter is like playing rock, paper, scissors without ever throwing scissors. You know, that's just one of the valid options that you have available to you. And if you're not taking uh, if you're not taking that into account, then you're not really thinking about the game and all the options that are like the most basic options. So what we got to do is figure out, well, what is the max range on the throw? And what you'll find is that even though it looks like he should be grabbing her, like he should actually be like kind of grabbing her by the neck, he doesn't. And the reason is because just like with the other moves, the hitbox and the hurtbox are just not colliding. So what I want you guys to do is look at her feet and my feet and use that as a measure and for the throw range. So you see how they are touching now? Still not close enough. Now let's see if I can move one little tiny training mode square. Still not close enough. So I think the throw range is actually a little bit shorter in Street Fighter 5 compared to 4, because in in Street Fighter 4, all you had to do is kind of make the two Ryu's feet touch, and then they could throw. They could be thrown. But let me try to move forward just one more. There we go. But see, she was in her idle animation. There we go. So if we go to this red line, the halfway point, I have to be pretty darn close to throw her. There we go. Okay, so right, okay. So that's move number 3 of our Ryu arsenal. So let's say that you got a few hits in. You know, the round starts, and you got a crouching medium kick, and then you got a sweep, and you got a knockdown, and now you threw them. Okay, so now look at her stun meter. Her stun meter is halfway full now, off of 3 basic hits: crouching medium kick, a sweep, and a throw. Now she's really got to consider her defensive options, because she's halfway to stun. So let's look and see what how much stun a regular Ryu combo would do right now. Let's say that you got a jump in, like a full combo on her. Whoops, shit. Hold on, let me start it again, and then get the crouching medium kick, sweep, and then a throw. Oh. Ah, my shitty execution. Let's just see how much combo this does by itself. Okay, so that does 460, and then remember our crouching medium kick, our sweep, and then our throw. Now she's she's basically one hit away from being stunned. So that means that on a pretty standard Ryu B&B combo, bread and butter combo, if you get the low forward, the sweep, and the throw, and then you jump in and she does an anti-air, or she somehow gets hit by the next combo, she's one hit away from being stunned. See? And now, chances are she's in the corner, and you probably have some meter of which you could do some major damage, probably. So you could probably do like right. So now, just from that alone, like she's got like 10-15% health left. I mean, you've done some serious damage. So, this is like basically our our Ryu game plan. And we haven't even talked about like throwing a fireball with the exception of doing it within the confines of doing crouching medium kick first. So now that we've talked about throws and talked about the danger that Chun-Li is going to be in if she gets hit by the sweep and the throw and the crouching medium kick, she's one combo away, and she's one combo plus one hit away from being stunned. You know, then what's the next step? So in Street Fighter 4, move number 4, the way that I teach it is move number 4 in the Ryu arsenal is the throw. So, I mean, excuse me, is the backdash. And the reason why backdash is important is because when you backdash, you have 7 or 8 frames of invincibility. And what that allows for is for people to backdash their way to safety, whereas in previous Street Fighter games, they would be forced to block or get hit. So I'm going to have to kind of think about what should be next, but um, I guess now we can just um, skip over backdash since it's basically useless for compared to the way that it used to compared to the way that it used to be before. So now would probably be a good time instead to talk about um, anti-airs. So anti-airs are important because at some point uh, your opponent will get pushed to the corner, and at this point they're going to try to panic, and then that's when you can anti-air them. Because if they try to jump out, you have to be ready and prepared for it and react accordingly. So Ryu, because he's a well-rounded character, he has lots of anti-airs. He has crouching heavy punch. He has standing heavy kick. Um, and of course, he's got the good old uppercut. I don't think he really has any other main anti-airs. He also has maybe a neutral jump of some sort. Maybe jumping medium kick. Maybe that one might work best. But in Street Fighter 4, he had a few more anti-airs, but that shit doesn't matter now. So, when the opponent jumps, and since I can't program the dummy to do anything, then we're just going to have to do it this way. And it's unfortunate that she won't jump towards me. But basically, the reason why these anti-airs are important is because one is good from close and one is good from far. So what I'm going to do is just kind of have her around here on the red line. So notice the range on the crouching heavy punch. So I have to be pretty close, which means that if she jumps close near me, then crouching heavy punch is a good option. However, if she is jumping from further away, then heavy kick might be good. And this is a situation where I actually haven't used heavy kick all that often as anti-air, but that's because like in this game it seems to be easier to uppercut. However, as a beginner, like I think it's important to not try to complicate things too much. And so that's why I think understanding the two traditional anti-airs that Ryu's had in basically every Street Fighter game ever since the dawn of time of standing heavy kick and crouching heavy punch, these things are important. So what you would do is you would set the dummy to record, and then you would record the dummy jumping in at you. Like let's say Ryu versus Ryu. Ryu dummy jumps in at you with jumping heavy kick. And then what you do as the defending Ryu player is you try to stand at a range where you can anti-air. So first you try to anti-air with this button. And then you try to anti-air with that button. And you would set the dummy to play it back, and then this would be some time that you spent in training mode. I mean, a good like minute or two is probably enough practice for the day. but you know, your mileage may vary, and everybody's got like a different learning curve. Um, I guess it would also be good to talk about. Um, this would be a good time to talk about the uppercut. So his uppercut is a strong option on as an anti-air, and it's also a strong option as a wake-up move when you get knocked down. However, because in this game there's no way to uppercut to FADC anything, the uppercut is quite a large commitment, meaning that if you uppercut on wake up in this game, you are, and I block, you are going to eat a fat ass combo every single time because you have no way to cancel it. So what that might look like is, let's say that Chun-Li was actually Ryu and I blocked wake up uppercut because I anticipated it, then I can just do this and then boom, just like that, uh, solar plexus into target combo gets 280 damage and 375 stun and a lot of pushback to the corner. So, um, so Wake Up Uppercut is extremely risky, and it's more risky now than it was in Street Fighter 4, that's for damn sure. So you have to use it sparingly. A good time to use it might be the first time you get knocked down, maybe the last time, but anywhere in between, it's such a risky option. A better option is to just block. 80% of the time, it's better to block uh, than it is to do anything else, like try to backdash or try to uppercut. It's almost always better to block and react to a throw by teching it. So by default, you're holding down back. Anything else is really risky. So let's look and see what the jumping would look like if we were to anti-air. So basically, and this is where a lot of new players get stuck, is they'll uppercut like that, or they'll uppercut like this. And the problem with uppercutting like this is that they're not getting all of the damage, and they're probably doing the wrong uppercut. So this is just like in Street Fighter 4, Ryu's best uppercut to anti-air is medium punch uppercut. And the reason for this is because it has the most invincibility. And you'll notice that if I hit it, this is still medium punch uppercut. If I don't hit it really late, it only does 110 damage and 100 stun. But if you do it really late, you get 130 damage and 150 stun. Look at that. 110, 100, 130, 150. So there's definitely a difference. You can definitely, yeah, it's definitely worth doing. Whoops, oh, I fucked it up. Yeah, it's definitely worth doing. So, I mean, you know, you could even cancel into super, but we don't need to talk about that right now. Okay. So, now that we've talked about, let's recap, shall we? So we talked about crouching medium kick as the best way to, we talked about crouching medium kick as the best way to push the opponent to the corner. Okay, actually, let's recap even further. The goal of Ryu when fighting most characters is to push the other guy to the corner. And the reason why the corner is important is because their mobility options are limited and most people crack under pressure when they're in the corner. The secondary goal is to build up their stun gauge so that you can dizzy them. If they become dizzy, the round is almost going to be guaranteed yours. So now that we know what our two main objectives are when we're fighting, let's think about the most effective ways to do it. Most effective ways to accomplish those goals. So the first way is crouching medium kick. And the reason why crouching medium kick is good is because it cancels into fireball. If you get them to block 4 of those, they're going to be basically in the corner, and that's when they start to panic. Even if they block it, it's still really good. The second move is sweep. Sweep is important because it gets the knockdown. Even after the knockdown, they're still going to have to eat some wake-up pressure, even if they do a quick rise. Third move is throw. Throw is still really good because it does a lot of stun in this game. And the other reason why throw is good is because you cannot crouch tech any longer, which means you gotta wake up, you gotta whiff a throw, you gotta react to a throw like a man. You cannot just mash low short or mash crouch tech and hope to get out of the throw any longer. Um, And so then we talked about anti-airs because at this point, if you do your job properly, you're going to have them halfway to stun and they're going to be very close to the corner. And at this point, they're going to start to panic. So you want to do crouching heavy punch or standing heavy kick, depending on how far away they are from you when they jump. And of course, for extra credit, good old medium punch uppercut still there for us. Whew. Oh my god. All right. I need a break. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna run a commercial, and I'll be back in either 30 seconds or 90. I don't know. I'm gonna set the 3-minute commercial. I'm gonna be back in 3 minutes. So if you guys would be so kind as to just sit tight, please watch this commercial. When we come back, we'll probably talk more about some of Ryu's combos and stuff, and maybe take some questions. So thank you guys for watching. Sit tight. If you're watching on YouTube, please follow us here on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, twitter.com/gootecks. You know the drill. Thanks for watching. See you later.